UFOs have been captured on camera, alien autopsies have been shown online, and recovered debris from crash sites has been analysed. Yet many say that all this evidence amounts to nothing. So is there another way we could find evidence, some proof of interaction with ETs and mankind? Well, there possibly is, but it's a little macabre. Dead bodies. When someone passes, there is a paper trail leading to the cause of death. If this death is related to a UFO incident, could it provide an indirect link to alien visitation? Could these unfortunate souls be the smoking guns of ufology? Let us take a look at some people who have died after interacting with UFOs. Welcome to IF, videos on mystery and history. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to never miss a video again. Let's start back in 1946 in a small village in the country of Brazil. Our unlucky victim, Gerald Prestes Filho. It was a normal day. The man's sister was busy going about her daily chores until Joel burst into the house. The man was very distressed, trembling and visibly shaken. When the sister asked what was the matter with him, he told her how he had been on a fishing trip when he had spotted a strange object in the skies. He told of how he had watched the object in disbelief. This was until suddenly the UFO fired a beam of light at the man, hitting him in the thigh. The injured man stayed with his sister as she tried to calm him and treat the wound. Several hours passed and Joel began to get very sick. The wound on his leg began to fester and worsen. Eventually, flesh started to fall away from the bone. The man was taken to a local hospital, with doctors unable to explain what was happening to his leg. They commented on how it seemed as if the flesh had been boiled. He soon passed away with no one knowing what had caused this terrifying wound, which led to the man's death. Let us jump ahead by a decade to November 1953. Two men, Carl Hurst and Wilbur Wilkinson, both of whom were known as UFO investigators, had rented a small aircraft to fly themselves to a rendezvous in Golden State Desert. Whom were these men to meet? Extraterrestrials, of course. The men made the claim that they had been contacted by an alien who wished to discuss its presence on our planet and the disclosure of alien life in our universe. No one knows if these men made it to that meeting, as the plane in which they were flying disappeared from radar. After extensive searches of the area and the flight path of the plane, no wreckage was ever found. These men and the aircraft they were traveling in had just vanished. With the time that has passed between the disappearance and today, it would be fair to assume that these two UFO researchers are no longer living. Another interesting aspect to this case is that Carl Hurst had been investigating a strange new military technology that was said to be capable of making any military aircraft fall from the sky. Was the alien in this story real, or just a ploy to get the men into the air so they could be taken out? I guess we will never know. A similar case, which is famous in the UFO community, with the event being recorded over radio communications equipment, is the disappearance of Frederick Valentich. October 21st, 1978, Valentich rented a single-engine plane and headed out from Moorabbin Airport, Victoria, to King Island, Tasmania, a journey that he would never complete. 40 years have passed since the disappearance. The only clue left behind was a radio conversation between him and Melbourne Air Flight Service controller Steve Roby. 7 p.m. The radio conversation began with the request for information by Valentich, asking what other craft were flying in the area. Roby informed him that there were no known traffic in the area and inquired into what type of plane it was. I cannot affirm. It's four bright, it seems to be like landing lights. The aircraft has just passed over me, at least 1,000 feet above, Valentich said. As the transmission went on, things got even more unnerving, with Valentich reporting that the mysterious aircraft was playing with him. "It seems to me that he's playing some sort of game," he said. "He's flying over me 2-3 times at a time at speeds I cannot identify." The scared pilot went on to describe a craft, long, metallic, with green lights. Then his terrifying last words: "It is hovering, and it's not an aircraft." Then 17 seconds of silence before the transmission abruptly cuts off. No trace ever being found of the man or the aircraft. Let's have a listen to this spooky conversation.
"This is Delta Sierra Juliet. Is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet?
No known traffic.
Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000 feet.
What type of aircraft is it?
I cannot confirm. It's four bright, seems to me like landing lights. The aircraft has just passed over me at least 1,000 feet above. Is there any Air Force aircraft in the vicinity?
No known aircraft in the vicinity.
Seems to be playing some sort of game. He's flying over me. Delta Sierra Juliet, it's not an aircraft, it's...
Can you describe the aircraft?
As it's flying past, it's a long shape. Cannot identify it, it has such speed. It's before me right now, Melbourne.
How large would the object be?
Seems like it's stationary. What it's doing right now is orbiting. The thing is just orbiting on top of me. It's also got a green light and a sort of metallic, like, it's shiny on the outside. It's just vanished. That strange aircraft's hovering on top of me again. It's hovering and it's not an aircraft.
The next case is very strange and has been the subject of many investigations, both from private parties and the Brazilian government. 1966. 2 healthy men in their 40s were found dead on the side of a Brazilian mountain. This may not sound that strange. That is until you learn of the objects they had with them at their time of passing. Both men were dressed in suits and wearing waterproof coats. They had lead eye masks with no holes, such as one would wear to protect from radiation. There was also an empty water bottle, 2 towels, and a notebook. The notebook confused the case even further. It contained a few notes in Portuguese. Translated, they read: 1630, be at agreed place. 1830, swallow capsules. After effect, protect metals. Wait for mask signal. Investigations ruled that both men had died of cardiac arrest. The idea that both men could have a heart attack at the same time being ridiculous to many. Were their deaths caused by strange orange glowing craft hovering over the area where the men were found? This just one of many questions in this story. What was the effect they were waiting for? What was the mask sign? And why did they need protection from radiation to begin with? Again, this case has never been truly resolved. And the more you dig, the more questions arise. The final and most recent death is that of Todd Sees. August 2002, Montauk Ridge, Northumberland, Pennsylvania, 5 a.m. A man was driving through his property, checking on the local deer population ahead of hunting season. This was the last time anyone would see the man alive. A search was organized and the area was scoured for 2 days. On the second day, the body of Todd was found under a bush and was badly emaciated. Did this man find himself in trouble in the early hours of that August morning? What is known is a large number of reported UFO sightings which occurred at the same time as he went missing. Reports to MUFON saying that there were silver discs flying near Montauk Ridge. One witness even reporting a shaft of light that shot from the craft shining down onto the top of the mountain, this being where Todd's vehicle was discovered. A strange beam of light and an emaciated body? This sounds very similar to the first case I mentioned. Maybe Todd took more of a hit from the strange light than Joel. Do you think these deaths show us that there is a real interaction between man and UFO? Do you think that these deaths were intentional or accidents resulting from unexpected interactions? What strange extraterrestrial deaths have you heard about? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to visit my blog for more interesting and strange stories. You can find me on social media by searching We Are If. If you enjoy what we do here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, like and share. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.